Kyle Lowry.
At least, you know what? Thank you, Corey.
I don't either.
Thank you for giving an answer that could conceivably be the correct answer. It's not, but I appreciate you giving an answer that could have been the right answer.
He might be our third best rebounder on this team.
Pascal Siakam.
Oh, I'm in.
Yeah, let's get him.
Okay, well, hold on.
We'll take him.
Yeah, I'll trade Cuban for him.
He's not even part of the organization, barely.
Oh my!
I think Cuban would make that deal if he's like, "Hold on, you'll take me?
No
All right,
chance.
deal. I'll give."
No chance.
You don't think Mark Cuban would trade?
There's casinos.
How hungry is
Are there
he
casinos in Canada?
I don't know.
no
I've never
chance.
been
That's
there.
what he wants.
He's available.
Yeah.
He would be an amazing fit for this Dallas Mavericks team.
I agree, because the Mavericks are one of the smallest teams in the NBA. When you look at their closing lineups that they have to go with, yes, Derek Lively is a long guy. He's our long, tall guy that we have on the team. Literally everybody else on the court. Luka's your second biggest player on the court at the end of games. Kyrie, now that he's healthy, is back. And then you look at the two other guys that you're throwing out there. Sometimes it's Derek Jones Jr. It has been Dante Exum, deservedly so, when he's been healthy. And now you're looking at Grant Williams, Tim Hardaway Jr., right? I mean, you're a very small team at the end of the game trying to put out your best five guys. And Siakam at 6'8" would be your second biggest guy on this team that would play, good minutes.
And the thing that I like that can work in cooperation with Lively is, I'll admit, Siakam's not a rim protector.
Right.
Like, fair enough. But he can switch off 1 to 4.
Yeah.
And he's a good help defender.
Yeah.
And so,
He can
look,
score.
I know, and you had me at good defender probably, right? But
Right.
if you can go through that many different positions and you're a good help defender, I'm in on that. But then, Corey, will you repeat what you just said?
And he can score.
And he can score. He cannot shoot the 3. He'll try on you, but he can't shoot the 3. But he can score a lot of
What are you
points.
talking about, dude? Against Detroit, he was 2 for 2 for 3.
That's fair.
That's 100%.
That's a good point. What is he shooting from 3?
There was
for the
also a
year?
game against Atlanta where he was 5 for 6.
Okay, I'm pretty sure he's like 30% for the year.
36.8.
3-point shooting?
It's only 2.8% lower than
He
Tim
is?
Hardaway Jr.
Oh, hold on.
in
That was in the
December.
month of December.
I'm pretty sure it's lower than that.
Yeah, let me go look at the whole
Okay.
year.
All right,
So we all agree.
100% Pascal Siakam would help out this team tremendously, the Dallas Mavericks.
And he's
I've wanted him for like 2 or 3 years now.
And he
which is
still
usually
has
the time we strike.
He should have 5 years left of still being a premium player. He's 29 years old. I would give him till 34 until there would probably be a drop off where you'd go like, oh crap.
And I know
he's not as good anymore.
28.5%.
Okay, I thought it was pretty bad. And I know people will bring this up. One of the reasons he's available is he will be a free agent after this year. So
Right.
the hope is you bring him in and you're able to keep him. But what will it take to bring him in? And then I don't know if you think it would be contingent on re-signing and all of that stuff.
You brought it up yesterday. We weren't able to get to it yesterday because our show was just too loaded with
It was
great stuff.
packed,
So we
man.
get to it
Maybe
today.
the best show of the year.
Unfortunately, I did see an NBA reporter, and I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. It was a woman who I follow on Twitter who follows the NBA and said, this is what Toronto wants. They want 2 rotational players, young rotational players that can play right now, and 2 first-round picks.
Josh Green and Jaden Hardy. Oh, hold on,
That
we're out of
doesn't make
picks.
sense. That doesn't make sense financially, like doing it.
Gotcha.
But I'm
Timmy
with
would
you.
have
That's
to be-
about the best we can do with young players that could maybe play on a redeveloping Toronto team. They don't want to go into tank mode because they do have still a decent team up there. They got Scotty Barnes and now Emmanuel Quickly. RJ Barrett's had a bad year this year, but he's he's probably getting overpaid at this point in
Yes.
his career.
Agreed.
But he's a good player. He's just not at all considered a potential all-star or anything like that. So they want to put together 2 guys in their kind of mid to early 20s that they think can really help them become a good team a year or 2 from now. And the Mavs struggle with that on their roster besides Derek Lively, who you know, and then you only have 1 first-round pick to trade.
I wonder if they would sub in a pick swap for that. I want to get to more of that in just a second.
They did say 2 first-round picks.
Okay. I wonder about...
It doesn't mean that they get that, though, right?
Sure,
That's what they want. They
sure.
want 2 first-round picks and 2 good young players.
I know Toronto in the past has been interested in Josh Green. I'm not saying, they're like, Josh Green, we definitely got to do it.
Oh, because he's Australian.
I don't know if...
I was about to say Canadian. He's not. Maybe they're interested in Dwight Powell. Please, Toronto, be interested in Dwight Powell. If there's anything that I want, is I want somebody else to be interested more in Dwight Powell than the Mavericks.
Looking.
This is what Hoops Hype projected as a Mavs offer. So want to see if you think this is doable and if this would move the needle for Toronto. Tim Hardaway Jr., Rashawn Holmes, because remember, you got to match some of the money. Omax, Jaden Hardy, a first-round pick, and a first-round pick swap. I get it.
I want the player.
I would do that in a heartbeat.
I want the player.
Wouldn't even. I would say yes, done. Sign the paper now before they change their mind.
Yeah.
Rashawn Holmes does absolutely nothing for you, and he's not an expiring contract. He has money on the books next year. Tim Hardaway Jr., not an expiring contract, has about $16.5 to $17.5 million on the books next year. Jaden Hardy has no place in this organization for the next 2 to 3 years, as in like a really valued, solid role. Is
Omax valuable to them?
Maybe. It just matters what they valued him in the draft. We don't know where he was on their draft board.
That is a very good point.
Because the Mavericks took him, was it 21 overall, if I have the pick right, but is in the early 20s, let's just say. So it just matters what they thought of him in the draft. And then it would be your 2026 or 2027 pick / pick swap with that year too, most likely.
Okay, you said do it in a heartbeat. I also add, I know this makes it more complicated because you can't trade him for like 3 more weeks and then salary cap. It's a nightmare. They have professionals to figure that out as well. They say you got to add Josh Green to that mix as well.
Done in a heartbeat.
Wow, still okay.
I'm not a fan of Josh Green.
I've noticed that.
I have, and I've lost the love for Josh Green. I'm kind of curious as his place with this group.
Okay. So I'm not saying it's the best group, but when we talk about young players to offer, Jaden Hardy, Josh Green, Omax, that's better than I would have thought 2 years ago that you had available that you were really willing to trade. So those 3 as the linchpin of young players and draft picks.
Because here's my thinking on this. If this were to happen and I'm unloading, I'm unloading, I would say more quantity than quality. That's the thing that I worry about is the rest of the league might offer better quality, but we would offer more quantity here. Is I'm looking at the Mavs. For the next, let's just say you sign Pascal Siakam to a 4-year contract extension at the end of the year. You don't max him out, but you give him a big salary at like
4 for 160 or I don't know.
Yeah, a big contract. If I have a healthy Kyrie, Luka, Pascal Siakam, Derek Lively, I might be able to win it all in the next 3 years. I might be able to. I can't even win a playoff series with the team I have now. They will make the playoffs. I do think the Mavs are going to make the playoffs.
Play-in game.
And I do think at this point they would maybe win one of those play-in games to make the real playoffs, then get hammered in the real playoffs because they can't play defense and they can't rebound on a consistent basis.
Like
but if I get Siakam there, and I have Siakam, Lively, my 2 superstars, and then I fill in the last spot with Grant Williams, Maxi Kleba. If I need a big-time shooter out there, I still have Seth Curry. I just look at how can I fill in the rest of this team and the rest of this roster. I go like, I will take a chance with that situation rather than what I have now. Now, I know that you're kind of out of assets. The rest of the way, you have made the decision for the next 4 years. You are locked into this team. There's nothing else you can do.
You better hope that Lively continues on the track that you think he is going to be.
Well, I guess in my opinion, he's been so much better. Even his offense, I can't believe how good he is. I'm not saying he's a great offensive player. I just can't believe how coordinated he is around the basket.
Yeah.
Like we're used to Sagana Diop, Eric Dampier, Sean Bradley. Tyson Chandler was not this coordinated and athletic around the basket to make these kind of shots. I'm not saying Tyson. I love
not
Tyson
while he was
Chandler.
here. Early in his career with Chris Paul, he was Lob City, but then later on he became a elbow guy. He could shoot from the elbow.
The way that he's able to kind of have some post moves, he does have some post moves at 19 years old. And look, I've also been used to watching Dwight Powell for a decade.
Right.
So
somebody asked this. Can we keep Hardy and move Green? The reason why I would say probably not is because it would depend on Toronto's valuations of those players. But also, Hardy is significantly cheaper just because the Green extension got done. And then you wouldn't pull the trigger on that for 3 weeks. I'm not saying the trade would get done in the next 3 weeks anyway. Yeah. And he just costs more for, I don't know how they evaluate him as a player.
Green is in his 4th year, averaging 6 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and can't stay healthy for an NBA schedule. Like that's what he is in his 4th year in the NBA on a team that needs him to be more than that.
Yeah.
He had that good 2-week stretch last year.
He did.
In 2 weeks, he got paid $55 million. That's the amazing thing about Josh Green, and good for him, man. He's set for life because he had 2 weeks of good basketball in the NBA where we thought he was taking a step to definitely another level and has regressed back to the guy that you're not sure can play consistent minutes in the NBA. I would love to move Josh Green for a valued asset. His contract's weird when it comes to trading because of the new extension. But look, if you can get Pascal Siakam, because I don't think you're going to be able to make a trade for, I don't know who you would be in love with, Kevin Durant. Right. If he falls out of love with Phoenix, whatever it is, I don't know if you're going to be able to do this. This might be doable. And then you hope that your casino money lady says, all right, 4 years, $160 million. We're going into luxury tax, and I don't care. And when Derek Lively becomes a free agent, 5 years and $220 million. I don't care. Like, we are not allowing a Jalen Brunson to ever happen on our watch again. And that's where I'd be happy with the casino money. I just don't know. The thing about Pascal Siakam, Kevin, reading about it, and I'm sure you have too, there's a good 6 teams that really want him right now.
And that is, and
the Mavericks are one of them.
Yeah. Which is always the situation, it feels like, whenever a player that seems attainable for the Mavericks is interested, everybody else that has more assets is.
He doesn't have a super choice here. He is kind of from here. He's not really from here, but he did go to high school here.
If that's the case, then about all the teams chasing him, if it's not the Mavs, I want to see a deal that I'm like, well, that makes sense. Yeah. I feel like there have been a couple times and I'm like, what?
We could have done that.
Yes. I just want a deal that I'm like, well, you never.
And we couldn't have won the OG Anunoby trade.
Yeah.
The Mavericks wanted him. They really liked him. They just didn't have the assets that the New York Knicks have. In fact, the New York Knicks still have more assets. They have 2 first-round picks this year. One of them being the Mavericks for the Porzingis trade. If you're wondering, hey, could the Mavs get another Derek Lively this year in the draft? No, they can't, because Kristaps Porzingis trade still isn't paid off yet.
How long do we have to pay that off?
1 more year. If you could be really terrible again.
Yeah, if Dwight Powell wanted to body slam all of our ankles, we could keep our pick.